This playthrough is rated M for mature.
Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with more Hakuōki's tales of stories of the Shinsengumi. In the last episode, we were forced to stay at home, but we learned about two of our companions that had been stuck with, Okido and Saito. Perhaps today we'll learn about other characters in the game. Depends on the roll of the dice, more or less. Let's begin. You're late. The moment we stepped into the dining hall, Nakakura and Harada looked up at us. Your kids are late. Who's gonna answer to my crying stomach?
新八さん、それってただ腹が鳴ってるだけだろ。困るよね、こういう単純な人。
Sorry. You mean growling, Shin? Really? You're so simple. Oh, you really mean growling, Shin? Really? It's so simple sometimes. You guys ought to apologize to my stomach. He wanted to dig in, but I said, no, we gotta wait for him.
新八、それ寛大な心だろ。ま、いつものように自分の飯は自分で守れよ。
You're such a softy, Shin. Alright, guys, it's time to eat. That means every man for himself. I'm not a man.
今日も相変わらずせこい夕飯だよな。というわけで、隣の晩ご飯突撃だ。
Man, there's barely enough here to feed a kid, let alone a man. So I'm gonna have to take yours.
弱肉強食の時代、俺様がいただくぜ。
Survival of the fittest. This food is mine.
ちょっと新八さん、なんで俺のおかずばっか狙うかな。
Hey, why do you always steal my food?
それは体の大きさだ。大きいやつにはそれなりに食う量が必要なんだよ。
Ha 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 ha! It's because of the difference in size, kid. I've got a bigger body. That means I need more food.
じゃあ育ち盛りの俺はもっともっと食わないとね。
Well, I'm still a grown old man, so I gotta eat more too.
毎回こんなんで済まないな。
Sorry you had to see that, Hinata. They're always like that. I've gotten used to it. Only after a week, that didn't take very long.
このおかず、俺がいただく。
Is acceptance of such insanity not somewhat frightening? That food is mine. Oh, why aren't you taking anything?
あんまり腹いっぱいに食べるとバカになるしね。
Yeah, I'm good. If I get too full, then I start getting slow.
おいおい、バカとは聞き捨て。だが、その飯いただく。
Hey, what do you mean slow? Ah, whatever, I'm taking that.
どうぞ。僕はお酒をちびちびしてればいいし。
Go for it. So long as I get a little sake to sip, I'm good.
じゃあ、俺も酒にするかな。
Then I guess I'm going with sake too.
ただ飯とか気にしないで、お腹いっぱい食べるんだよ。
Don't worry about being a freeloader or anything, Hinata. Just eat your little heart out, okay? I know. I can't help but feel a little bad though.
気にしたら負けだ。自分の飯は自分で守れ。
Well, if you let that get to you, you're gonna lose. You have to protect what's yours. Okay. It was actually rather fun to have dinner with such a strange group of men. I'd eaten alone for so long that to do so with others was frightening and exhilarating all at once.
最初からそうやって笑ってろ。俺らもお前を悪いようにはしないさ。
Except you guys did threaten to murder me not like a week ago, so you know. See, there's that smile. You ought to do that more often. They aren't gonna hurt you. Harada. His mouth curled up into an honest smile of his own. Had I really looked so down? Perhaps they were all trying to cheer me up. I wasn't quite sure how to feel. There was a part of me that felt bad, while another part felt a certain amount of joy. The joy seemed to be winning out, however, and I was smiling to myself when Inu stepped in from the hall.
ちょっといいかいみんな。
Gentlemen, do you have a moment? And as usual, his voice was warm, but in his eyes was a level of solemnity I'd never seen before, at least during our thus far brief acquaintance. The warmth of the room disappeared almost immediately.
大阪にいる土方さんから手紙が届いたんだが、 三男さんがタイム中に重傷を負ったらしい。
I've just received word from Osaka. Sanan has been gravely injured in battle. What? They all went quiet. Inu continued. Sanan had gone to investigate a report of several Ronin harassing a cloth merchant. He had managed to drive them off, but not without being wounded by the Ronin. Is he going to be all right?
相当の深手だと手紙に書いてあるけど、傷は左腕とのことだ。剣を握るのは難しいが、命に別状はないらしい。
It wasn't his sword arm that was wounded. He's almost certain to survive, but wielding a blade will be difficult for him. Oh, thank goodness. I let out a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding, but it seemed that the rest of the roof didn't share my relief.
数日中には屯所へ帰り着くんじゃないかな。それじゃ、私は近藤さんと話があるから。
He should be returning here in a few days. Now please excuse me. I must speak with Kendo. He turned as he spoke, his last words delivered over his shoulders, and was gone. It was Saito who eventually broke the awkward silence.
刀は片腕で容易に扱えるものではない。最悪、三男さんは二度と真剣を振るえまい。
A sword is not made to be carried in a single hand. If his injury is severe, he may never carry a blade again. Oh. At last I understood. Yes, Sanan was alive, but without the ability to wield a sword. Sanan, the man, had survived the encounter with the Ronin, but Sanan the warrior had not.
片腕で扱えば刀の威力は損なわれる。そしてつばぜり合いになれば確実に負ける。
Fighting with a single hand would mean less strength behind his blows. Against an opponent of similar skill, he would almost certainly lose. But of course, fighting with one hand would be fighting at half strength. Even a skilled warrior would have trouble. Okita sighed.
薬でも何でも使ってもらうしかないですね。三男さんも納得してくれるんじゃないかな。
If push comes to shove, he'll just have to take it. I don't think Sanan is just gonna give up.
そうじ。めったなこと言うもんじゃねえ。幹部が新選組入りしてどうするんだよ。
Don't jinx him, Soji. It's gonna look bad if officers start joining the Corps. Huh? Wait, that didn't make any sense. Now I put that in my female voice again. But what do you mean, Corps? Isn't that the Shinsengumi? I didn't understand. What was the Corps if it wasn't the Shinsengumi itself? But the way they said it, they couldn't have been referring to the Shinsengumi.
普通の新選組ってこう書くだろ。新選組は戦の字を手辺にして。
Well, normally, yeah. You might call the Shinsengumi the elite volunteer corps, but we talk about the corps, though we...
Heisuke!
Heisuke! Huh? Before I could move, Harada was on his feet and halfway across the room. I barely had time to gasp before he drove his fist into Heisuke. Ah! Heisuke, are you alright? Nagakura sighed.
やりすぎだぞ、佐野。英介もこいつのことを考えてやってくれ。
Sana, you're overreacting. Heisuke, think before you open that damn mouth. His eyes were cold and hard as he turned to look straight at me. It was clear Heisuke had told me something that he shouldn't have. But what?
悪かったな。
Sorry. After a moment, Harada gave the younger man a curt nod of apology, and Heisuke responded with a quick, pained smile.
いや、今の俺も悪かったけど、たく佐野さんはすぐ手が出るんだからな。
Ah, I should have been watching what I said. Still, Sano, you start throwing those things around way too easily. His punch had hit with enough force to knock a lesser man out cold, but Heisuke seemed only slightly the worse for wear. It had never been clear that I was not among normal people.
今の話は君に聞かせられるギリギリのところだ。
That's all you're going to hear about this particular topic, Hinata.
これ以上のことは教えられねえんだ。気になるだろうけど、何も聞かないでほしい。
I'm sure you're curious, but we can't tell you anything else, so don't ask. His voice was friendly enough, but his eyes gave his words a cold weight that made me feel almost uncomfortable. But how was I supposed to just drop it?
新選組っていうのはかわいそうな子たちのことだよ。
The core that Hisuke was talking about are men to be pitied. The core, the name used by members of the Shinsengumi to refer to a secret unit within the organization, will die. Anyway, Okita's voice was flat, motionless. His eyes were grim, and there was a sudden chill melancholy about him. I couldn't bring myself to say anything more. Thankfully, Nakakura stepped in to break the silence.
お前は何も気にしなくていいんだって。だからそんな顔するなよ。
It's nothing you have to worry yourself about. You don't have to get all worked up. I was only a guest in their house, not a warrior of the Shinsengumi. I didn't need to know the truth behind what secrets the Shinsengumi kept. I'd known that from the beginning. That knowledge was little comfort, however.
忘れろ。深く踏み込めば、お前の生き死ににも関わりかねん。
Put it from your mind. Involving yourself in our affairs will only put you in greater danger. I bit my lip and kept silent. The wall between us was almost a physical thing. It was far too large an obstacle for me to defeat easily. You're not going to be fighting walls, are you, my dear? I finished my dinner in sad silence and excused myself and returned to my room. I had a great deal to think about. The Shinsengumi, huh? I knew the Shinsengumi, of course. Their name meant Elite Volunteer Corps. But this corps they mentioned, it seemed to be something different. Unless it's supposed to be pronounced corpse, which I know why later on, but I'm going to pronounce it corps for now. No, it has an S, so it's corpse. So Sanin is part of the Shinsengumi, but he shouldn't be part of the corpse. The way they said it, it seemed as if the corpse was another entity inside the Shinsengumi. No, I wasn't supposed to think about those things. I was only going to get myself in trouble if I stuck my nose where I didn't belong. If I saw or heard the wrong thing, I could even end up dead. If I die, I'll have a hard time looking for my father. Well, yeah, because you'd be dead. There were people who cared about me, and my death would no doubt sadden them. With that in mind, I did my best to put the day's events out of my head, climbed into my thin futon. July 1864. Man, 4 months? March, April, May, June, July. 5 months had passed. Dang. It was later that day that Hijikata called for me. Excuse me. I had been relieved to find Okita and Hisuke had been summoned along with me. A private conversation with only myself and Hijikata would have been cause for a significant case of nerves. I was still trying to puzzle out what to say when Hijikata began to speak, his voice cold as tempered steel.
お前に外出許可をくれてやる。
You can leave the compound. Really? Yeah, it took him 5 months. Jesus. His announcement was so sudden that I found I couldn't contain my enthusiasm. Hijikata, however, retained his
市
composure.
中を巡察する大使に同行しろ。隊を束ねる組長の指示には必ず従え。
Except, don't they need her to survive so she wouldn't die when they say die, because that's dumb. You're going to be accompanying whoever on duty. You jump when they say jump, and die when they say die. Are we clear? Yes, sir. At last, I'd be able to go outside. I'd finally be able to begin searching for my father. My answers wouldn't show themselves immediately, I knew, but at least I was free to look for them.
ソジ、ヘイスケ、今日の巡察はお前らの隊だったな。
Soji, Isuke, you're on patrol today, right?
なるほどね。だから当番の俺らが呼ばれたってわけか。
Oh, I get it now. That's why you pulled us in here, right? The confusion that had been on his face since I had entered lifted at last.
でも今回は俺より掃除向きじゃないかな。今日は掃除の一番組が昼の巡察を担当だろ。
I don't think it's going to be Soji's turn this time, though. The first division is doing rounds today, isn't it?
平介の8番組は夜担当だし、夜より昼が安全だっていうのは僕も同じ意見。
Yes, Heisuke and the 8th are going out tonight, so I think he has a point. She'll be safer during the afternoon. He nodded at Heisuke and gave me a quick wink.
でも逃げようとしたら殺すよ。老子に絡まれても見捨てるけどいい？
Don't forget, if you run, I'll kill you. And if we get jumped by Ronin, I'm not sticking around to pull your ass out of the fire, okay? He wasn't being serious, but Hijikata turned his cold glare on Okita and frowned.
いいわけねえだろうがバカ。何のためにお前に任せると思ってんだ。
No, it's not okay, you idiot. Why the hell do you think I'm sending her with you? Okita's only response was a short snort of a laugh. I won't run. I knew he wasn't being serious, but I couldn't stand to keep my mouth shut. When I came here, we made a deal. I promised. Shinsengumi helped me find my father, and I would keep quiet and not run away. And I still wanted to find him, just as much as I had the day I first met the Shinsengumi. I'll keep my promise. So please keep yours. I gave Okita a short bow, never taking my eyes off his face. The smirk that had been on his face when I had begun had shrunk to something smaller, more than a little awkward.
ごめんね。少しからかいすぎたかな。でも何が起きるかわからないのは本当だから。
My apologies. I guess I underestimated you. You should realize that there's no way to know what could happen.
危険を承知でついてくるっていうなら、僕の一番組に同行してくれて構わないよ。
If you come with us, you're putting yourself in danger. And that's all right with you. Feel free to join us on our rounds. Even if I knew that Kyoto was not safe. But I didn't care. I had to find my father, and at that moment, any possible danger seemed immaterial.
長州の連中が不穏な動きを見せている。本来ならお前を外に出せる時期じゃない。
We got a new word of the day. Chozu domain. A domain governed by Takachika Muri, an opposition daimyo. Most members of this domain were nationalistic imperialists during the early parts of the Bakumatsu period, and later attempted more directly to overthrow the shogunate. The Josu have been acting up. We don't know what they're up to, but chances are it's bad for us. I'd rather be not sending you out. He seemed to be almost talking to himself, but his tone was stern and thoughtful. The soldiers of the Choshu domain were part of the Imperial Nationalist Party. A term for the philosophical and political leanings of those who wanted to see the emperor as the supreme administrative power for Japan, and also hoped to remove foreign influences from the country, also known as the Sanjo faction. They had increasingly been turning to force in their pursuit of these goals. The Shinsengumi, on the other hand, were loyal to the shogun. Since their masters were at odds, the Shinsengumi and the Chozu domain were enemies. It occurred to me that the increased activity at the Chozu domain had likely made it difficult for the Shinsengumi to shoulder a burden such as me. Why did it go into that, like, specific scene? Then, yeah, whatever. It's probably her inner monologue or something. Why are you giving me permission to leave the compound at a time like this, then? Hijikata's face hardened, and he looked away.
江戸の家にも帰ってねえらしいし、今日の街中で高堂さんらしい人物を見たっていう証言も上がっている。
Koto has gone back to Edo. We have heard that a couple of people saw something around Kyoto. It might not be him, but it matches his description.
それに半年近くも辛抱させたしな。機会を見送り続けたんじゃ、高堂さん探しもこのまま進まねえだろう。
Besides, I've kept you locked up for almost half a year. The Chozu are a threat, but if it wasn't them, it'd be something else. I'd have to let you out sometime, or you'd never find anything. It wasn't what I'd expected to hear from him. He was right that they postponed my search for my father for quite some time. What I hadn't expected was that he would give any thought to my feelings on the matter. Thank you very much. I bowed as I spoke, not sure what else I could do to express my gratitude. Hijikata only turned back to his work.
それに今は腹を壊してる大使も多いしな。俺らも万全の状態じゃないし。
Besides, plenty of our guys aren't feeling so hot these days. We're not exactly in top condition, are we? Hisuke's joking didn't seem to appeal to Hijikata, who only frowned more deeply. Well, it has been awfully hot today. It certainly had been. Day after day, the sun burned down on Kyoto from a cloudless sky, and all the rooms of the compound were so humid that I felt dizzy as soon as I stepped inside. I had heard that the heat had been too much for some of the Shinsengumi soldiers, and they had taken ill.
とにかく俺は許可を出してやる。行くか行かないかはお前が好きに判断しろ。
If you want to go, you can go. You have my permission. Alright. I sat there for a moment and considered my options. There was something in his words and demeanor that told me he didn't want me to leave the compound. Still, if I was with Aikido or Hisuke, I had no doubt that I'd be safe and well protected. On the other hand, my presence could be an undue burden to them. What was I to do? Leave the search or remain in the compound? Alright. Let's see. Let's get out the old die. So even will be the top option. Odd will be the bottom option. Here we go. Even is top option. So leave to search for my father. So we shall go. We must find him. You cannot keep me behind. Oh my gosh. The streets were full packed with people. Nothing strange in a busy city, of course, but I could feel my heart beating faster all the time.
はしゃぎすぎ。巡察に同行してるんだってこと忘れないでね。
Hey, don't get too excited there, Hinata. We're out here for business, not fun, remember? His wry smile was a friendly warning, but I shrunk back, cowed, and looked back up at him meekly. The city's just so busy. I guess I just can't help myself. Getting worked up over a busy city street was a silly thing for anyone to do. We both knew it. But I'd been inside for so long. Just the sight of crowds was enough to get my blood pumping.
まあ、祇園祭りも近いしね。街が浮き立ってるのは僕も否定しないけど。
Well, the Gion Festival's coming up. Things are a little more lively than usual. I'll give you that.
でも、上位派老師たちの動きが怪しいのは本当だから。僕たちから離れて勝手に動くのだけはなしね。
Of course, some of those nationalists running are acting pretty suspicious too. What I'm saying is watch yourself, alright? Nationalism. A term for the philosophical and political leanings of those who want to remove foreign influences from Japan. Okay. We were walking down Kyoto's largest street, accompanied by the 1st Division. No one came within a few yards of us as we walked. They stepped away from the moment their eyes caught the bright blue of the Shinsengumi jackets. And what will take place in the roads of Kyoto? Will we find out our father? Will some danger occur? Or will we find out that just this whole adventure is just one long dating sim, sort of, in a weird way? Find out next time on Hakuōki, Stories of the Shinsengumi. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode.